Hello and welcome to On the Road and Hampton Roads. My name is Andy Bond, and Steve Goad and I are interviewing people in our area who are bringing the American entrepreneurial spirit to life. Today we're with Ray White of Classic Artists Today.
Right.
And thank you very much for hosting us.
Absolutely.
And Ray's going to tell us about how he got into the business and what the business is. Ray, so what is Classic Artists Today and how did you get into it, please?
Well, Classic Artists Today is a production company that produces syndicated radio shows. And we have two right now, one called Classic Artists Today, or The Cat, and another called Cool Cat. And Classic Artists Today features new songs from classic rock, pop, and soul artists, and Cool Cat also features new songs from classic soul, R&B, blues, and smooth jazz mix. And I got into it because just the love of music. When I was a kid, used to sneak a little transistor radio under my covers and listen to the music, and just became a big fan of a wide variety type of music. And then the bands would go on and be successful and split up, and then you kind of lost feel of where they went from there. But how I got into this was because radio today is very much pigeonholed. You have to have strict guidelines, or companies have strict guidelines on the music they play on the various formats. So a lot of the classic artists, they won't play them on classic rock because it's not the song from 20, 30 years ago that was popular, but they're still putting out great music. So I researched for about a year and a half and found out a lot of these guys were putting out new music. So from there, I thought it'd be a great idea to go ahead and put together some syndicated radio shows with no experience in that particular industry. And but it was just a passion. It was a dream to get this music out in front of folks again so they could reconnect, especially with baby boomer type folks that had spent time and soccer every weekend with their kids and maybe got away from some of the things they enjoyed doing in their youth, that now they can reconnect. And then our kids too. If you check out their iPod, I've got a daughter 27 and another one that's 22 now, and both of them, you check their iPods, and since they heard a lot of the music by these artists that we played growing up, a lot of that's on their iPod too. So those are two particular markets that have shown a lot of interest in our shows.
Yeah, I think it used to be that the rock and roll generation separated itself from the earlier one, but now we're seeing the next generation and our generation listening to the same music.
Well, absolutely, and I think again because the folks of our age and of our era going to the shows and taking their kids with them got exposed to the music along with the radio, listening to the classic artist stations and all. So I think there is a connect, and good music is good music, and that's the thing about it. Today, music to me is kind of off the wall, the hip-hop and all that, electronic sounds music, and they're not really playing real instruments, and that's becoming kind of a lost art. And I think kids and folks our age see that having the skill and ability to play a mandolin or electric guitar or keyboards without just turning knobs, making sounds, or taking little snippets of previously recorded sounds and putting it into it, that's really not music. Yes, there's an art to it, a science to it, but it's really not music in the true sense of the word.
So let me understand the niche then. There are artists that we hear on classic rock stations regularly, but your niche is that you play those artists' newer music. Is that right?
That's right. We play music from the new CDs that they're putting out, but to keep the audience engaged, we also, every fourth song is a classic song. For instance, we'll play Kenny Loggins' new song, and then after that finishes up, we'll play old classic from Loggins and Messina, or for him solo, and that keeps folks plugged in. We also interview the artist. Over the 5 years since we've been aired by radio stations, we've interviewed over 100 artists, and they get an opportunity. We don't so much focus on what they did back in Woodstock days or whatever, but we focus on their new music now, What are they doing now? Are they in the studio? Did they just release a CD? Where are they going out on tour? Talk about the tour. A lot of the audiences, they say, are younger because it's a new generation of folks coming up that are listening to their music. So we have special features on there too. We have a segment called Cat on Cat, where we get a classic rock artist that talks about a new CD from another classic artist. And they enjoy doing that type of program too. And then of course a lot of the guys are getting up and the gals are getting up in their age and passing on, like Whitney Houston, unfortunately. And we've got a guy that works with us out of Canada that does a great One to Remember tribute that kind of gives a biographical background of that singer along with some music too. People love that aspect of the show also.
So you told us that you did this because you have this passion for the music, but that you didn't have the background. So without the background, how did you get going?
Well, I certainly had the background in the music and knowing the musicians and knowing the music they put out.
I meant in the industry.
Sure. But from an industry and technology standpoint, I really started out not knowing anything on it. So through colleagues of mine, I've met some folks. Greg Sampson, who is a DJ, and unfortunately he's passed away about a year ago, with Elizabeth City State University, and he was the program director there. And he spent time with me showing me the technical aspects of it, how to mix together a program that it sounds professional quality. Then there was folks like John McClung, who was our first affiliate that carried our show, and WRW radio station, a small station in Williamsburg, Virginia. And he gave me kind of a background on the business aspect of it. And then Scott Clark, who is a radio and TV engineer out in Oklahoma. And they were one of our first radio affiliates too, and they all really loved what we were doing and were gracious enough to spend time and give me input so I could learn that aspect and be able to do what I can do today.
So those were your mentors, and so you picked it up and were able to do it. How did you find distributing your effort here, though? How did you do that? How did you get it out to radio stations?
Well, I've been in the economic development field as my day job for 16 years. And I started this business. This is a part-time business on nights and weekends. So obviously it was tough to talk to radio stations during the daytime, during the business hours to get it. So basically through email, I would send them an email. I would send them a little snippet MP3 of several minutes of the show and say, if you're looking to fill out your schedule and our shows fill a void, we'd certainly love to talk to you. So that's how we started building up the affiliates that we have today. And on Classic Artists today, we're on about 35 times a week right now. In Cool Cat, we're on about 15 times a day right now. And then after we became known in the marketplace, we started getting calls from radio stations saying, hey, I heard you're over on this radio station, and can you let us know more about what you're doing? And that's great when you can build a business to that point to where they're calling you rather than you going out and trying to find them all the time.
And so I would imagine the value that you had to bring to this was perseverance, knocking on all those doors and sending all those emails.
Absolutely, because like a lot of sales and a lot of marketing, it's a numbers game. And you just have to get the message in front of people, and then there's going to be that 1 in 50 or 1 in 75 that's going to be interested, and then out of those, 1 in 10 of those are going to say, okay, let's go ahead and run your show. So you have to be persistent. That's just the name of the game, and having a background in sales and marketing certainly helped a lot in going through the process, because I've found when you least expect it is when a station goes, that's exactly what I'm looking for, let's go with it. But if you don't go through knocking on those 50, 75 doors, as I mentioned, then you're never going to get to that one that says, let's go.
Yeah, I think Thomas Edison said, when I've failed, that's just one more step closer to success. Absolutely,
and that's, I think, the way with life in general. You know, with your family, you know, a lot of tough times with your family, but you always be persistent and always work through issues, and the same in the business world.
You've told us that this was a sideline job, not your normal day job.
Right.
So how much did the day job help you with this job?
Well, it helped me in as far as marketing skills. I dealt with a lot of executives of companies, CEOs, and plant managers. So having the experience to deal with folks at that level, trying to position myself as how would they look at it? What are they looking for as an operation manager of a radio station and a good show that's going to bring listeners in and therefore advertising dollars? So I tried to look at it from the other seat per se, and I think that was a real valuable tool in getting things started and getting us to where we're at today.
We've interviewed a couple other radio people that had the big banks of dials and knobs and meters, and I don't see that here. So are you able to do it because of technology now from where you are here in this office?
Absolutely. Technology, I couldn't have done this 10 years ago because the technology just wasn't available. But then as I researched and my mentors told me more and more about the industry and gave me insights, figured out that we could do it with a laptop computer, a mixing board, microphone, and the appropriate software. And we'll stack it up against anybody in the country as far as the quality that we put out on our show. And it's just unbelievable what technology does and utilizing what's out there today on a successful business. And I certainly couldn't do it without the evolution of that particular technology.
Well, thank you very much. Where can we learn more about CAT and Cool Cat?
Well, www.classicartisttoday.com, and artist has an S on the end, is our Classic Artist Today, our main website, and then www.coolcat, and Cool has 3 O's, COOLCAT.com, and you can find out more there. And we're planning on continuing on growing. We're working right now on a country format, playing new music from classic country artists, and also have talked to some folks in the restaurant business about a theme restaurant. Meeting a lot of these musicians. Like I said, I've interviewed over 100 from members of Leonard Skinner, members of Styx, Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers, interviewed a bunch of those guys. And said, how would you like to play in a venue and showcase your new songs, and then afterwards connect with your fans? That would be a special, like a VIP section up front, and kind of sit down and have a couple minutes with each one of them to kind of reconnect with your fans. And it's been an overwhelming positive feedback from the musicians. So I don't want to be in the restaurant music venue business, but certainly there are folks that are experts in that, and I could bring to the table my expertise and match it with theirs, and may have next Hard Rock Cafe or House of Blues concept going in the near future. We're certainly interested in doing that too.
Well, thank you again, Ray. Thank you for hosting us, and
You're
thank
welcome.
you for sharing your experience as we've been on the road in Hampton Roads.